Hi, welcome to Ziptied. Today we're going to work on taking a Chrysler Sebring to Sebring, and boy is this one a bad scenery. So this is our 2006 Chrysler Sebring. It's what America thought luxury was before the financial crisis. And this one has seen, I can't say it's actually seen better days because these are all terrible cars, but this one's certainly gotten the worst of it. So anyway, we're gonna work from square one, what it would take for anybody to get a car and bring it to Lemons. So let's get into it. Okay, so you've acquired your race car, and you need to convert it to actually being a real race car. So there's 5 things, I think. There are 5 things that you need. You need a roll cage, you need a bunch of general safety, then brakes, tires, and your theme. And that kind of covers almost all of it. So we're gonna go one by one, we're gonna go through it and show you exactly what you need to do. First place I start on any race car is stripping all unnecessary junk. Carpets and insulation are especially necessary to remove so the roll cage can be installed and there's less to burn in a fire. Additionally, all airbags and all the glass except the front and rear windshield needs to be removed. Now this isn't going to be a how-to on how to build a roll cage, because if you've never done it and don't feel confident, this is not the place to start. If you've never built one yourself, I highly suggest having one built for you or buying a car with one already in it. If you're buying a used car, this part can help you out a whole lot in saving a whole lot of time and money. The plates that mount to the floor need to cover 24 square inches of the floor and be at least an 1/8 inch thick. It should go without saying, but these need to be completely welded around with no holes. And that goes for the rest of the whole roll cage too. Roll cage material is dependent on the weight of the car, but make sure the tube you choose or has been chosen for you is appropriate. I would suggest using DOM tubing because the cheaper ERW tube with a thick line going down it is prone to split open in an accident. It should also be said that the tube cannot crush in where it's bent. The bends must be mandrel bent. The door bars can be of 2 designs, X like I did on the Sebring or NASCAR style like I did on the Doge, with the latter being the safer of the 2 options. Some important things to look for is that the bar that sits diagonally in the main hoop is a single unbroken tube, and the bars that extend towards the back of the car sit as close to 45 degrees as possible without extending beyond the rear wheel. A very important part of building a roll cage is mounting of the seat. First of all, you need a purpose-built race seat, and it cannot be one of those crappy plastic bucket seats. It needs to have strong mounts. It can be on sliders, but the seat shouldn't wiggle. The seat also needs to have a hole for your crotch belt, 2 for the hips, and 2 for the shoulders. I solidly mount my seats to the floor with spreader plates equivalent to the roll cage. When it comes to the seat relative to the roll cage, the harness bar needs to be 0 to 15 degrees below the shoulder hole and at most 6 inches from it, or else a seat back brace is required. The other bit of consideration is the top of the driver's helmet. It must be 2 inches below the top of the roll cage. With the seat mounted, now the 5-point harness gets installed. For the hip and crotch, I like using eye hooks because they allow the harness to swivel. If you use bolts, you need to use one with a shoulder so it can still swivel freely. To utilize the eye hook, you'll need a clip-on end to attach the belt to it. Just make sure you put a cotter pin in it. And if you're attaching an eye hook directly to sheet metal, you need to use a 2.5 inch grade 8 load washer. I like going a little bit extra, but that's just me. The belts have a specific way to be wrapped, installed, and adjusted. It'll be detailed in the instructions that come with them, so double, triple, quadruple check yours that they're set correctly. The steering wheel doesn't need to be removable. However, it's highly suggested so you can get out of the car as quickly as possible, and getting out quickly isn't a suggestion, it's a requirement. The cutoff switch is one of the main safety devices on a Lemons car. It needs to be able to shut the motor and all accessories off with the throttle held at 2,000 RPM. Modern cars often can be wired by simply interrupting the main cable going to the fuse box. However, if the switch still doesn't kill the car, it may be necessary to wire the alternator directly to the battery side of the kill switch. While we're talking about the battery, it must be securely fastened to the car so it cannot be moved. And if the battery is in the same compartment as the driver, it needs to be secured in a battery box. Okay, so now I'm installing one of the most critical systems on the car, and that is the fire suppression system. This is a Lifeline 0-2020 system, and it is like a foam type suppressant, and it does the job fantastic. So let's get to installing this and save our butts. Hopefully not. No one likes fire. So this is very good because no one wants to be on fire more than they have to be. So let's fix that. Each company has its own methods for installing these kits, but the 0-2020 kits get 2 nozzles pointed towards the driver and 3 pointed towards fire sources in the engine bay. There are also 2 handles that get installed as well, one for the driver and one for track crew in case of an emergency. I mount the nozzles with simple pieces of sheet metal I'll rivet on. In the same vein of safety, brakes and suspension components should be in good shape. Ball joints and tie rods are especially critical. Brakes will garner a lot of opinions, but I can suggest Yellow Stuff, BP30, and ST43 pads. They're all quality. Part store pads are okay, but you will have to warranty them halfway through the race. Stock replacement rotors are typically just fine, and for brake fluid, I like Castrol React, but a good DOT 3/4 fluid is up to the task. If you have drum brakes in the back, it's okay. If you have them in the front though, reread the part of the rule book about the roll cage. As for tires, the Sebring is staying on the Yokohama all seasons. It's not ideal, but it is free. If you think you're hot stuff though, I can't recommend the Hankook RS4 enough. But if for whatever reason they're not available, the Falken 615K Plus is also a pretty decent tire. Some other things to look out for rule-wise: you don't need a fuel cell, the stock tank unmodified is good enough. I honestly know nothing about fuel cells, so I cannot help you there. Strong tow hooks, front and back, are necessary. I like using chain and axle straps. They're easy. Your windshield can't have any cracks. If it does, get it replaced. The roll cage needs padding anywhere the driver could hit belted down. Don't buy pool noodles because they don't help in a 60G accident and they also melt in a fire. The interior also needs a general de-scuzz. Vacuuming up loose objects, covering sharp edges near the driver, and zip tying wires. While you're at it, make sure there are no holes in the floor or the firewall. It may not be safety, but you can't forget to theme your car, especially if you're in a BMW or Miata. If you don't, you will be penalized, I promise. I'm not going to spoil the theme for the Sebring. You'll have to wait and see what it is next episode. Okay, so the question everyone wants to ask: how much does it cost to build a Lemons car if you can do the work yourself? Based on what I can find, all of these things that I bought for, not this card, but the Sebring, about $2,500 if you can do all the work yourself. Now that includes a little bit of messing up and plenty of fixing broken stuff. If you can do the work yourself, you save a lot of money. I don't know what it costs to build a roll cage for a race car, because I build roll cages for race cars. That's what you could do it for the absolute minimum, and that's what I did with the Sebring. You might also be asking, hang on, I thought these were $500 cars. Safety stuff does not factor in whatsoever to the cost of the car. Wheels, tires, brakes, anything kind of deadly to do with your car, roll cage, seat, fire suppression, all that doesn't count. But at the end of the day, I hope that this video is enough to show you nothing here is extremely hard or anything weird like that, especially if you choose a very common car. There's gonna be tons of support, tons of everything. Honestly, if you just print a set of the rules, it's very easy to follow. Nothing here is all that hard, honestly. I just hope this inspires anybody who's interested in the sport or whatever to just get after it. This stuff is really fun. It's a great way to get together with you, your friends, your family, all that. And I just hope it inspires you to maybe do the same. Next episode, we are racing both this car, the Doge, and the Sebring together at the same time. And it is going to be a lot of work. If you don't want to miss it, subscribe. I will see you next time.